All right, guys, welcome to the Next Level Live. Thank you for joining today. I really appreciate you jumping on. I want to get right to a number of things from like a housekeeping standpoint for Family First Life. Number one, we're still on this amazing journey and mission as we're selling so much and putting in so much indexed universal life in place for families all over America. You have to understand that my background, I got my life insurance license in '08. One of the first products I wrote, being 36 on myself, was an index universal life. Read a book by Patrick Kelly called Tax-Free Retirement. I was like, is this really true? Like, you can really do this? I called the insurance carrier. It was actually F&G. I called them up. I was like, I think I'm gonna write some policies, one on myself, a couple on my kids. Like, how does this work? Is this accurate? This is the way it's structured. Yes, it is. Amazing. Okay. How do I illustrate it? What do I do? Walk me through it. I was like, well, that was amazing. The problem in '08 was that would take me, 2.5 months to get issued. You go through your medical exam, you go through, it was just, and I'm like, wow, like, and I'm the one doing the process. I'm the agent and I'm the insured, and it was still pretty exhausting. So for me, we launch FFL, mortgage protection, final expense, we sell annuities, we go virtual. In-home sales is relationship building. Like, do you all trust me? Do you believe that I'm doing the best by you? Am I direct to your family? Do you believe I'm going to handle things when something happens? Like I call the insurance carrier and I handle your death benefit. That's always been my deal. Told my kids in sales, the way you win is you can walk around head held high always. I was at a little local fair with them in Connecticut long time ago. And this guy and his wife were screaming and their kids, Shawn. So I'm turning around. I'm like, and I'm looking, there's all these people. And I'm like, hey guys, how are you? And I'm trying to remember their names. I knew that they were clients of mine. And they said to their kids, this is our insurance guy. And I'll never forget when they walked away, I said to my kids, the thing in sales or in your business, like you need to be able to when anybody calls, anybody you've helped, like treat them with respect, be direct with them, be honest, do it the right way, and serve them. That was in-home sales. If you believed I was confident enough, I was going to do my job, I was showing you the product, I was being very direct. Well, I want it for this. Well, sir, I'm not mad at you, but you're 74. Here's all the medical problems you got. You don't get it for that. I was very direct, respectful, but direct. No, somebody said I can get this. No, that's accidental. That's not why would you do that? I got your life insurance, but here's what it costs and here's why. That's how we did it in home. Virtual, and we have a lot of people who are still in the home. A lot of folks are like, hey, I'm doing my virtually. Love it. I'm whatever works for you and the clients, I'm all about it. Zoom, phone, home, that's on you. Completely support it. That's great. What we did realize is over the phone, things change. And they don't change dramatically, but they change. When I was at your house, you were buying me, what I'm doing, what we put together. Over the phone, people are calling you all the time. So you got to work really hard to build a relationship, right? But also realizing that the way business is done in the home and the way it's done on the phone, if anybody says my persistence is exact, and again, they'll tell you, because people always tell you, I have 99.2%. Dude, I'm telling you, I've been doing this 15 years. I have my numbers. I have their numbers. I probably have your numbers, even if you don't work with us. No, it's not. There's a change. So you have to understand what we're doing over the phone. And then a number of guys were like, hey, I'm selling IULs over the phone. We're killing it. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. That takes really long to do. And then we started having carriers like Mutual of Omaha were like, I have this express product. Marico released theirs. There's one on Ethos platform. But even like when you take F&G, NLG, take these carriers, even the ones that have requirements that are more involved than a straight simplified issue, you're like, oh, wait a minute. This happens pretty quick. Because I want the client to get their insurance, not in months, and I want the agent to be able to put it in place and also get paid. So we made this, we were 8-9% of our business a year ago. Life side was the index universal life. Persistency is ridiculously high. I also believe, for me, when you take hundreds of millions of Americans for leads on life insurance, mortgage, final expense, you have to have people that are like, hey, I might die or get sick, like, let's talk. And unfortunately, the entire population doesn't think that way. Even though it's guaranteed, you hear all these sayings like, what's guaranteed? Taxes and death, the only two things. Like, Guaranteed you're going to die. But there are people that don't want to discuss it, don't want to think about it, don't want to address it, all of the above. What I realize is everybody 18 to 50, and if your health maybe a little bit older, I'm like, wow, everybody sees a different benefit, right? Like, I can do something about my retirement, something that's tax-free. I'm 20. I don't got to get a 401k and wait till I'm 59 and a half. I can fund this at this level. The cost of insurance, I'm young and healthy, is here. Here's what I'm able to do. I also have insurance, so I have a death benefit. And then you figure out which ones are you more focused on, your cash accum, your death benefit, what are you looking for? And they structure them right, and you're like, wow, what an amazing product. That being said, it's one of those things where now I think everybody, the lead, and that's why leads are so easy to produce. And like here, it's like if you want to produce them on your own, if you work at a company that requires you to buy leads from them, I think like if they say you can't buy them somewhere else, I think you should quit. Because that means they're their leads and they're making money off of the, like if they're like, you can't, like at FFL, I want you to get whatever works the best for you as long as it's compliant, I want you to get it. That's what I want you to do. It has to be compliant though. Like it really has to be compliant. But if you're like, I'm doing really well with this, they're compliant, here's what I'm doing, here's how many buy a week, good for you, man. I'm doing well over here, man, good for you. I get them from over, that's how we've been since day one. But if you're like, well, I have to buy them from him, I'm like, why? Well, he requires me to. Why? Because he makes money on them. Is your job to make him more money or make yourself more money? What is your job, right? So you have to decide that. Now, IUL leads, you can produce them yourself. Social media, a lot of people can do it themselves. It's easy to teach you how to do it. It's not very complicated. But understand that where we're going is we are going to be 50% of our life volume will be index universal life by the end of this year and 75% by mid next year. Matter of fact, we just announced a cruise, or not cruise, sorry, Bengal, we've gone on 2 cruises. Our summer trip next year, which is not a cruise, 4 days, 3 nights, Cancun, August 1st, the qualification period started, and it ends on May 1. $250,000 in life issued premium. Obviously, you have to have 70% persistency. Obviously, you have to be in good standing debt-wise. $250, you get a room. $350, upgrade room. $450, a little better than that. $700, pretty significantly better. And then $1 million if you do in 9 months. Probably the nicest room at the resort, the nicest rooms. If 2 people do it, if 7 of you do it, congratulations, that's awesome. We're excited. We just announced that. By the time we take that trip next year, 75% of the business we do will be next universal life. We still love all. We were growing. We had our best month ever last month. That's what we're always moving and things are happening and we're growing and life goes on and people are like, man, but you just keep growing. Yeah, so we just keep recruiting people and working really hard and putting the best products in front of them and having the best relationships we can with the carriers. And we're adding some new carrier relationships, which is amazing. So we're really excited about that. But really, when you look at what you're doing, and people call me and go, so I was with a group of guys the other day, they're like, so you're telling us we should write index universal life. I'm like, I'm telling you that no matter what, you should diversify what you sell. I'm not telling the people that sell IULs and sell, like there's times where people can't qualify for an IUL from health situation or age. They write whatever they, final expense, write more, whatever they can do. I just don't think it's ever a good idea to go, I don't do that, I only do this. And that's my advice to you from a business standpoint. You do what you want to do, what makes sense for you and your business unit. You're independent. As long as everything you're doing is compliant, I'm totally good. Doesn't matter to me. I want you to be as profitable as you can be. But I realize as we scale this thing, how amazing it's been to have that large a percentage of our book, Index Universal Life, which has ridiculously high persistency where it stays in the books, which means you keep getting paid on it. You don't have to worry about like that chargeback diminishes dramatically. It takes all the best parts of the business and allows you to amplify those. So just so you know, that's where we're heading. You'll hear a lot about it. Matter of fact, that gives us on October 21 and 22, Ignite Sales Conference, Palm Beach, Florida. First day's training, sales, recruiting, business building, profitability, all of the above. Second day, IULs. We will talk about annuities as well. I don't want to, but I'm just saying it's predominantly going to be an Index Universal Life training that day. Carriers talk about their products that day. Top producers talk about their products that day. So those 2 dates in Palm Beach, the Palm Beach Convention Center. It's a free event, register. Annual convention, you want to register. It costs about nothing, like literally like for 3 days, well under $100 that like we spend millions and millions and millions and millions, but we sold out last year, but we didn't charge. So it was a really big nightmare where it's like, but I registered. We're like, okay, but then you didn't show up the first day. I know, but I'm here. And if you were at the event Saturday night, there was not a seat left. So every seat was taken, people stand in the back of the room, and we want to make sure we have exactly the amount of people that paid to be there in the room sitting in those seats. So just so you know. So there's some meet and greet, some other stuff you want to participate in those. We have some amazing speakers. We've announced Eric Thomas. We have a number of other ones we're getting ready to announce that are huge names, so we're really excited about that. The training is key because getting around people always ask me, what's the best thing you did when you got in the business? I started asking people for advice. The funny thing about this business is all the answers were just flying around me. All I do is reach up and grab them. Right? That's all I had to do was just reach up and grab them. They're all flying around. That guy knows how to sell X amount of dollars a year. This guy understands a lead source. Man, this guy's a really good recruiter. Man, this guy's doing really well with that carrier. I wonder what that's all about. This guy only sells these 2 carriers. Wonder why he doesn't sell those. I might not do what he's doing, but I want to know why he's doing it. So I was always really good at getting the information. I would ask. So I still went to all the trainings. I went to every meeting. And people were like, you're the number 1 producer. Why'd you keep going to the meetings? There was something I don't know. I was recruiting more than everybody else. Why do you go to the meetings? There was something I don't know. So I'm going, dude, you got to be there. And I was paying $5, $10, $15, $20, $25,000 to go to a couple-day convention, not $49, $99, whatever it is. I wasn't paying less than $100. Believe me, it was a lot. But I went because I knew I needed to be there. I understood the concept of what I was going to get out of it, right? So I really hope that you are registered and get your team registered. I always tell people, you can tell how your year is going to be with how many people you got to the training. It's not because you're going to walk in the training and the roof's going to open and they're going to reach down and grab you and pull you up to the top of the arena and they're going to give you 4 things. And you're going to be like, oh my God, what happened? I got brainwashed. I woke up and look where I am. I'm being really stupid and facetious and sarcastic. The reason is if you have that many people that are trying to get better, it's not a massive sacrifice to fly somewhere and spend a couple nights in a hotel, but they are making some kind of sacrifice. And the more people you have on your team that are easy to work with, that are willing to make sacrifices, and then yes, they get all the information. It's an unfair advantage. It's an unfair advantage to be able to say, when I started building my business, the first year at convention, I think I had 111 people on my team. And I think I brought 125 people to, meaning there was 111 people on my team. Everybody went. I think a couple of them brought a friend or a significant other. So I had 125. And I'll never forget one of the guys said, well, you have a big team. I was like, this is it. This is all I got. This is everybody I got that has a license or is in classes sitting right here. And he said, that's amazing. I have 700 people on my team, but I only have 30 here. And he said, how did you get them all to come? And I said, well, it was non-negotiable because they expected me to work with them. And if they wanted me or expected me to work with them, I expect them to work for themselves. I expect them to work hard. I expect them to make sacrifices because they're going to ask me to do the same. I have zero problem making sacrifices, but I don't want to make sacrifices if they're not willing to make sacrifices. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm going to meet them where they are. And I would say, tell me why you're not going to go. Sell me on why you're not going to go. And they couldn't. So I'm all ears. Why aren't you going to go? Well, I'm like, yeah, I got, that's an excuse, but you're going to sell me just because you don't feel like going, or you have your fantasy football draft that day, which will be weird because the season's just Super Bowl hasn't even started yet, so there'll be no fantasy football draft for you. You know what I mean? I got a pickleball game my cousin challenged me to, or there's a big game I want to watch on TV. That, come on, man. Sell me on why you're not going to go. Why are you doing this? I'm doing it for my family. Got it. Why? I want to take care of my kids, pay my bills. Okay, so if you want to do all that, you want to do it without making sacrifices? You can't do it without making sacrifices. It's impossible. It's literally impossible. You can't do it without sacrifice. So I think I was always really good at that and I expected more out of me than I did out of other people. And I went to every event. And when they were like, man, that guy, he wasn't really good. I go, good. So you don't think he was good? Good, then don't do what he did. Man, that guy talked about this, but he's not good at A, B, and C. Okay, good. Then did you listen to him? Yeah, then don't do, if you want to be good at A, B, and C, don't do what he does. You can learn what to do and what not to do. You can, you know. So I really think that it's something that's really important for people. And the last thing I want to talk about is how focused people need to be on profitability. When I was building my agency, every time we had a sales meeting, and I mean every time, Mike Sizer will tell you, Dominique Rogers will tell you. I mean, just going back 15 years, I don't think there would be anybody else at those meetings that were there. Mike Betancourt was in a different industry for a while. Now is back in insurance, back with us. He was there. It was, hey man, how much did you make this week? I sold. No, I know I got that. How much did you make? You put in your bank account. $4,000. Cool. What did you spend to make the $4,000? All right, you netted 3 G's. Yeah, like you did. Okay, got it. But then it was like, okay, well, if something falls off, like we were very, very, very focused on profitability. For you, I think I always got nervous when agencies, and I was in like real estate, and I would go to these conferences, and all I would do is talk about the leaderboards. And I'm like, yeah, but the guy in my office that sold $4 million in real estate in the last 6 months, he doesn't charge commission. Like literally, he like the commission usually was 6%, split it, you co-broke it, it's 3%, right? Sometimes 5%. I never was messing with 4%, but this guy would be like, yo, I'll do my side for 1%. So if the agent listed it for 6%, he's like, I'll take 1%. So of course, you know, people are pretty excited to do a deal. Or you're selling, he'd be like, I'll do it for 1%. I just had a guy the other day who he's like, man, I'm trying to sell my property, my investment property. I said, well, how long's it been on the market? He tells me, I go, let me see the listing. I don't. And I'm like, dude, why is this showing 2%, like 1% to each side? He's like, I don't know. Like so-and-so found the realtor. I go, but nobody's going to list it, or nobody's going to show it rather. He goes, why not? I go, would you show it? Like, they're going to make absolutely no money. Like, I don't like, he's like, well, that's what the realtor told the guy that she wanted to do. I go, well, why don't you get a new realtor or ask her to list it at 6, co-broke it, or 5 minimally, at least give him 2.5 to 3. You're offering him 1, which is significant when it's $300,000. So the realtor's like, well, I don't know any of this. I didn't know the realtor, but they call him back and said they just decided to go in a different direction because the realtor didn't think it was a good idea. Put it on at 6 and had like 11 offers in 4 hours and sold it. Like, it's not common. Like, you got almost full price, where if you had sold it for 30 grand less and paid 4% less, you still win by, like, it didn't make any kind of sense. So it's really educating people on the profitability. It ain't profitable if they list it for nothing and don't ever sell it. How much did you make this week? How much did you keep this week? Because we can head fake ourselves with numbers. We can do stuff like, had a great week, recruited 9 people, had a great week, made 5 sales. I've had people tell me they made sales I didn't make, which is, I was never like, well, I submitted 80 grand. Like, if I got all the banking information, and now it's all instant, so you already know it's approved. But like, even back then, if I knew, like, man, I don't think that's I didn't even count it. I only counted issue paid business and then real expenses. So start having some real conversations. Document that every week. What did I make this week? 4,000. And you should be able to tell anybody in any business, how you doing? Well, I've made $38,411 in the last 3 months. All right, cool. Is that what you? Yeah, man, I'm doing good. I was like 10 G's a month. Well, I'm like, you made that, you grossed it. Okay, what are you keeping? 20. All right, so you're keeping, $7 grand roughly. Let's call it 21. 7 G's a month. You're netting 84 grand. Okay. Like, you're paying tax on 84. What were you making before this? Are you happy with that? I'm not really happy with it, but it's not terrible. What do you want to get to? $150. Got it. You want to net $150. Net. Now, does that mean that you're going to spend $200 and make 100 grand? No. Some of the most profitable businesses I've had have had the worst margin. Not margin, but like, when I say margin, EBITDA margin, like, you're not keeping 80% of what you make. There's a lot of really small businesses that don't make any money that keep, 60 cents on the dollar. They just don't make enough dollars. I'd rather keep 20 cents on the dollar and make a lot of freaking dollars. So I think you need to get that concept down and speak that language. I think as you're finishing up 2024, especially with where people are at, where inflation's at, the nice thing about life insurance is cyclical and people always buy it. So when interest rates go up, and IUL leads have changed the game completely. Like, they've changed the game completely because now there's so many leads you don't even know what to do with yourself. You don't need a life event for a lead. You don't need a home purchase for a lead. You don't need, so-and-so had a death in the family. And all life insurance lines are good to sell. All products are good to sell. But what you have to decide is, how am I going to make sure that my portfolio is diversified? And if you've not, and I've heard too many people go, well, it's complicated. The IUL presentation and product is not any more complicated than the mortgage and the final. It's not. It's just not. Now, if somebody's structuring something really big, you find a client that, wants to put, $100,000 a month into it, call the carrier, let them do their job. Like, that's more complicated, but they'll do it for you. We got people here at FFL that'll do it for you. We'll show you how to illustrate it. We'll show you how to put it together. We'll show you what it looks like. We'll show you how to illustrate the death benefit, the withdrawals, what they're looking at for cash. When does it become a MEC? Like, how do you avoid that? This isn't complicated. But we have too many people that are like, but I just do it this way. That's the only way I'm going to do it. And that's just never a healthy way to do it. So I hope you're having like an amazing year already. I hope the rest of the year is killer for you. You get everything you want out of it. I hope you hit all the goals you want to hit. I hope you are recruiting if you want to change people's lives and if you're trying to make passive income. And if you don't want to, don't. I hope you're selling. You make money, change people's lives. If you're not selling and you do what you want to do, because whatever you want to do is what you're going to focus on, and whatever you focus on is what grows. So appreciate everything you do. I really do. Appreciate you being here. We have no company without the amazing men and women we have out putting life insurance products in place all over the country. And for that, I'm insanely appreciative. So hope you have an amazing day, and thanks for jumping on today.